I will consult with Soludo on Nigeria's challenge. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate for the Labour Party, has stated that he will confer with Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo on ways to address Nigeria's problem. During a meeting with the Nigerian Guild of Editors on Monday, Obi revealed this. He added, I need to consult with Soludo to help me since he knows and he has the solution. Obi also stated that he would foster an environment where 50% of Nigerian women would be included in the country's national productivity program, which is based on the Bangladesh government's 35% affirmative action model. Recall that Soludo, a former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, recently declared that the investment made by Obi while in office were worth practically nothing. Obi cannot win the 2023 presidential election, he added. In response, Obi claimed that as the state governor, he had done little and urged Soludo to carry out his duties as an economics professor as effectively as possible, according to reports. Well, that is it. Peter Obi knows how to deal with people like Soludo. Soludo doesn't know what he ignited. Peter Obi knows how to tactically deal with situations like this. Soludo took a swipe on him, and since then, Peter Obi's popularity soared higher instead of diminishing. Now, look at what, for me, Soludo don't enter one chance. Look at what Peter Obi is saying. Since Soludo knows everything, since he's a professor, because it's like that professor thing is really shocking him. He will consult him on how to fix Nigeria so that he will tell us how to fix Nigeria. We're hoping that by then he would have done something tangible in Anambra. Meanwhile, a lot of people are saying Soludo may not see a second term. Obonkota joke. Anyway, let's leave it at that. Yoruba community in Oka coronates new Oba gets Soludo's assurance. The Yoruba community in Anambra State at the weekend coronated the third Oba of Oka, Alhaji Abdul Olahan, popularly called Ezechinedu, leader led by God by his admirers. The Yoruba community in Anambra State at the weekend coronated the third Oba of Oka, Alhaji Abdul Olahan, popularly called Ezechinedu. Before him were Oba Owolabi I and Oba Oseni II, whose transition took place about a year ago. The new Oba, who has spent 68 years in Oka, was barely 2 years when he was brought to Oka by his late mother, Alhaji Afusat Olahan, to join his late father, who was a tailor, Hamza Olahan, from Ede Town, Ede North Council of Osun State. Speaking after his coronation, the new king assured that the Yoruba ethnic group will continue to remain peaceful and supportive of the government at all levels. The renowned fashion designer, fabrics and estate management entrepreneur pointed out that the new position is an added responsibility on him to lead with God's wisdom, to resolve issues and well as bridge gaps between people who disagree. Well, I'm not opposing this. Having an Oba in Igboland. Apart from Eze, we know what is Eze and we know what is Igwe. They are almost Eze Igbo. For me, Eze Igbo are like ceremonial, not really, okay, they have some kind of duties, but it cannot be compared to when you say Oba or Igwe. So Yorubas have Oba in Oka. And it didn't start today, it didn't start with Soludo, so that nobody will blame Soludo. I want to ask if Igbos have Igbo communities in other places have what we call Igwe. Though I'm not so much in support of that because past records, I'm talking about the Igbo side. We heard that some of these guys who are Eze Igbo in other places disrespect the real traditional rulers we have at home. They drag with them. After all, I am Eze Igbo of Lagos. The ones in the east are the real traditional rulers. The ones in the city, I consider them ceremonial, though to an extent they have some rights. There was a time Fashola, I think, almost stopped them from taking such titles because it's more of title, because of it's spoiled some of their ranks and they are disobedient to the men traditional rulers. Imagine Ezigbo Ghana, for example, which is like Igwe, though I don't so much regard that, will come to Nigeria in his own town and we expect the Igwe of his town to thinking they are equals. Meanwhile, I still want to ask, this Oba of Yoruba in Oka, Anambra State, can it be compared with having Ezigbo? Is it the same thing? I'm just asking now. Tension as bishop worshippers field in Anambra Church escalates. The crisis between worshippers and bishop in Ihia Catholic community in Anambra State has escalated. As a result of this, heavily armed men stormed the church premises, apparently on the instance of the Bishop of Nnewi Diocese, Jonas Benson Okoye. The armed men disarmed the parish security men, tied them, and forcefully dispossessed them of their phones. The misunderstanding between the Bishop, Catholic Diocese of Nnewi, Most Reverend Jonas Benson Okoye, the Ihia Catholic community, and the Holy Ghost priest of St. Martin Parish, Ihia, has taken a rather dangerous dimension. According to a reporter by Legit in Anambra, Mokugo Solomon gathered that in the evening hours of Thursday, November 17, 2022, heavily armed men in black clothes with their faces all covered stormed the church premises, apparently on the instance of the Bishop of Nnewi Diocese, Jonas Benson Okoye. It was further gathered that the armed men disarmed the parish security men, tied them, and forcefully dispossessed them of their phones, and had the whole church ground locked down. This, according to reliable sources, was connected with the bishop's ultimatum to the Holy Ghost priest to vacate the parish hours before Friday, November 18. We earlier reported to you about the crisis in Ihiala Church, Anambra State, where the Bishop of Nnewi Diocese, who is in charge of the area, has with notice some priests considered as Holy Ghost priests, just like the Mbaka and Co., the adoration priests, with notice them, giving them another location to restart their ministry. And some of the members of the church are not pleased with that. And the crisis has been ongoing to a point that there was a time a Sunday service did not hold. Okay, the service actually went on, but it was officiated by people, not the priests. And we talked about this earlier in our past broadcasts. It has come to a point whereby the Holy Ghost priests consider themselves, like some people do say, too big for anybody. Because of just like Mbaka, he has been severally cautioned by the Catholic Church leadership not to make certain statements because he's under an authority. But Mbaka went on. He has huge following. He can say anything. After all, how many of these senior priests have such a following? So, Mbaka is like a Holy Ghost priest, just like Ebube Monza and the rest. And some of the times, due to the support these people have gotten, they make certain statements that affect the church. That is not always the position of the church. And you realize too, in several cases, they have been having problem with other priests who are just priests of the church. And I don't know what really started this particular problem. And this bishop asked them to vacate that place, and they said there has been a long-standing directive that they should, or a permanent directive that they should make use of the place. So the bishop asked them to leave, and they are telling the bishop there is a kind of arrangement that they should remain in the place permanently or for a long time. and a place has been allocated to them, something like that. So it has been, can you imagine? It has gotten to a point security operatives are coming to church, arresting people, tying them down. There was a day, a Sunday, no priest was there to officiate or take care of the mass, and the people did it themselves. The only place they didn't do, there are particular ceremonies in the mass that are solemn that only the priest can be allowed to. And can you imagine how it has gotten? And if you ask me, I think the Catholic Church has leadership. In any case, I think the leadership of the church should be respected. Can you imagine the battle between a bishop of the zone also and priests who are called Holy Ghost priests who are supposed to be subordinates? I think the church will have a way of settling this rather than invitation of security operatives to settle church matters, inside church matters. It's shameful for me. Now you're inviting the government to settle matters like that.